My name is Credit Coach Nicole Scott. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can get notified when our latest and greatest videos are dropping. We drop videos on a weekly basis to help you. So if you're interested in repairing your credit, building credit, whether that be personal credit or business credit, or even to get personal funding or business funding, you are in the right place today. So make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. How to start a Turo business. How to be able to leverage your personal credit and business credit so you can start your very own car rental business. Make sure that you've watched all of the videos within week 9 where we are going to be covering the ins, the outs, all about Turo. Let's go. Today we're going to be talking about Turo, and I'm also, I checked the freelancer website, and we actually got some responses in from the logo contest. So I'll be able to show you guys some of the responses from there because there's some good logos in there, you know? It's always so hard to select which logo you want. I think that's the hardest part about it.
You know, one of the things, I guess, you look at it, you just pick what you like, or I don't know.
Man, there's 5 pages of submissions. Some of them are like,
Wow.
No, but it's like so many people send in their submissions.
Yeah.
A lot of them I see they're like similar, and a lot of people have that same style. So I always try to go for one that is a little bit different as well.
I'm kind of curious about that Turo business because last year up in Denver, I picked up a guy, and I think I was taking him to the airport where one of his cars were. And I think he told me, I want to say off the top, he had about 10 cars, maybe 6, and he was working towards 10.
Wow.
And I mean, he says he's hustling. He's got, I think it's his father or his father-in-law is also helping him because they had to go, you have to go wherever that car's left. You have to go pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay. The thing about, where I live is Colorado Springs.
What's the closest airport to you?
Oh, from my house, 8 minutes.
Oh, you're in a prime location.
Yeah. So it's like great. The thing with Denver is that, so you have this hub, and to the northeast, I mean, this is where the airport is. And it's like, just to get down to like almost the outer limits of Denver,
mm-hmm.
It's like 20-minute drive.
Mm.
It's I think from the airport, because I've done it quite a few times, to or from a hotel downtown, I mean, where all the high rises are,
right,
is 30 plus minutes.
Got it.
And that's freeway driving.
Right.
You're like, good. I mean, you drive a mile or two city, and now you're on the freeway and you're hauling. But he said he started. I was kind of probing him a little bit about the business.
Mm-hmm.
I came across a lady who sells dogs for pets. Yeah.
Wow.
She made it's $1 million business.
Oh, I'm sure, because people pay big money for nice dogs.
Yeah, and so she's she lived up in Denver, but she would go to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and that's even bigger market. And she would, I think what she did is that she would go, what was it? Were these rescues? And she had an in with somebody in, let's say, like a shelter for dogs.
Right. Yeah.
And says, I can give these dogs homes. And I think she's picking up these dogs for nothing.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then flipping them like that, you're like, good God, And so I was kind of like probing a little bit, but I could tell her personality is, she's a type A. and all or whatever it is, just a go-getter and everything. And I'm like, she already has this opening that, that leverage, that advantage. A lot of people are just not going to have.
Right. Yeah. There's different types of people out there, and there's not a lot of type A people or, captains or pilots or however they want to describe it in whatever disc assessment that they're taking. But I realized a lot of people are not the pilot type. They don't want to be in the hot seat. They'd rather just kind of take a back seat, and that's cool for them. They're okay with that.
Yeah. So I'm curious about this Turo, because it's like, listening to that one guy, I'm like, how does it, because I wanted to look at Turo like you probably have in San Francisco, those scooters.
Yeah. So they have like green scooters or something.
Yeah. But someone has to have a truck.
Yeah. Someone has to have a car.
You got to go round them up.
Yep.
And then you redistribute and so forth. They finally have those now here in Colorado Springs. And of course, not everybody likes them, but I did come across another passenger, and they said they were going to pick up a Turo because they were going to go out into the mountains.
Okay.
And, because we're, the mountains like here, and here's our city.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right.
And so there's, I'm saying like, yeah, there could be a little bit of a demand out here because we get quite a few people. And there was, I don't know if you noticed it, but it was last year. Was it last summer in late fall that I pick up people and they're like, do you have a conference going on here in town? There's no rental cars. There's no rental cars.
That's everywhere. That's everywhere. Yeah. Because so the dealerships were not getting like the chips from overseas
for the new cars.
Right. So it kind of put everyone backwards. Rental cars have been scarce. Now, even like some of the big rental companies out here, Enterprise, their selection is just crappy, and they're really overpriced, So Turo is kind of like the Airbnb of cars, or for, cars, essentially, rentals.
And you'll probably go over this, but I figure, let's see. So I don't know the population here of Colorado Springs, but we do have, there is some like tourism here. We have a hotel, the Broadmoor. When the president comes, that's where he stays, this Broadmoor Hotel. It's a 5-star hotel.
Gotcha.
It's wow. The wealthy come to that hotel, so that's really nice. But with Ubers right now, people can't find an Uber. When I would pick them up, they're like, "Oh, thank God you came to pick me." They are so they're so thankful.
Right.
And they tip me. They're tipping me bigger than I've ever seen. I'm like, this is nice.
Yeah, that is really nice. Because I'll tell you, for a while, a lot of people were having issues getting rental cars because of the chips. And I don't live in the best city for Turo. I don't, but I still make money on Turo. We have 3 cars on Turo. I live a half hour away from the airport, but it does not affect our business because there's always people traveling. Always.
Where exactly? Not your address, but
we service the Sacramento airport.
Sacramento
okay. Airport.
So you're Sacramento, not San Francisco.
Nope. We used to be, so last year we were servicing Oakland and San Francisco airport. And this year we moved in October of 2021. And we relocated our business out to Sacramento airport. So now we service only Sacramento airport. We had to kind of transition a little bit. So we still had trips that were like out there, and it was just a nightmare because it's 2 hours away essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do service the Sacramento airport. And for a while it was kind of slow because I was like, well, maybe it's just them getting our algorithm and, getting up in the search ranks. But I think it was just slow for Turo overall for a while. It's starting to pick up a lot more now because we got a lot of trips last week for next month, and you know, some areas have not slowed down though. So every year is a little bit different, but I will say this, I have not paid my car payment. I've not had to pay a car payment in over a year. Turo pays my car payment.
Okay. So let me ask you this, and so with each of your cars, either individually or all together, may I ask, what do you net?
I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you on the app.
Okay.
So I'm going to share my app with you guys so you can kind of see what it costs. And that's why it's really important for you guys to get a really low interest rate, because the interest rate is going to cut in on the profit margin with Turo. Yeah. So when I first started doing Turo, one of my car payments was like 18% interest, and I got it refinanced down to a 4.89% interest, which saved me $200 a month on my car note. And so now it's only like $450 for that same Dodge Charger that, you know, when I walked off the lot at Dodge, they had me at an 18% interest rate. So now I go, what's that?
Was that personal or credit?
That was personal credit. This was like a couple of years ago. This was with GE Financial. And you know, they're high interest. Anytime you go to the Dodge dealership, you're probably going to walk out of there with a car, but you're going to be paying for it big time. You're going to be paying high interest rates and high car note because of the interest rate.
Okay.
So you always want to go with your own financing.
Yeah, I was asking, I was just at Bank of America. I was trying, because they got a business car loan deal going on with everything to capitalize on that.
Yep.
And the problem was, so I still got that damn bankruptcy on my report and those 2 collections, which one I took care of. The bankruptcy is going to drop off, but that leads me to wanting to. Is there any way to get a hold of you directly?
Yeah, I'll text you, or actually, let me put my cell phone number in the chat here for you guys.
Is it?
Because I'm not on social media a lot, if you guys haven't noticed.
No.
So is texting better than Facebook chat?
Yes, because I'm not on Facebook. I'll be honest. Like, I have virtual assistants that are on there, and they'll tell me sometimes, but texting is better for me because it's like a direct way. I get a lot of messages on social media as well. But yeah, the Bank of America play is a good one. I got approved with Bank of America twice in the past. I haven't actually had a chance to actually use it because when you get approved, it's only valid for 30 days. But I did get denied a couple times before I got approved. So you just have to continue to apply, because my first application with them, I think, was a while back last year, beginning of the year. And I think my experience has always been my worst one. And I think it was like a 687 or something like that. It was in the high 6s, and they declined me. And then when I finally got approved, my first Bank of America auto was approved at like a 702, like literally right at a 702. They approved me with Experian, and I still had 1 medical collection on Experian. That's the only derogatory account that I had. I was able to get the other account that was previously affecting me off. And then I just had that 1 medical collection. They still approved me. And then I went back, and because my financing had expired, so I went back and applied again, and they actually approved me for even more. They approved me for $50,000 off stated income at Bank of America. And you can get up to 4 autos per LLC or corporation with Bank of America, but they have stipulations. They want you to be in business for 2 years. They want you to obviously have at least a 700 credit score with Experian, because they pull Experian and Experian only. And that's pretty much it. They have you sign a document saying that, you know, you're going to take responsibility. It will not report on your personal credit profile unless you default.
Yes, I love it, because not only will they start reporting for your business score to go up on your on-time payments, but it'll wipe your. I actually was getting a qualified for a statement bank loan for a home, and one of the things that he lowered my loan approval amount was because of that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because you're auto. I have seen so many people come to me that want to get a home, and the reason why they are declined is because of their auto loan. So in today's call, we're going to be going over, you guys need to get your autos out of your business. I'm actually working on that myself. I have one auto that I'm actually going to be trading in pretty soon. I just didn't want to do it recently because we already have the tracking devices in them, and it's like a freaking nightmare. We just got the tracking about a year ago. Now we're ready to trade the car in and get a new car. This car is under my personal. It's the same one that I refinanced with Navy. Went from GE Financial at an 18% interest. I went to Navy Federal, refinanced it at a 4.89. That saved me $200 a month on my car note. And then I put it on Turo, so Turo pays for it. But now I'm going to trade that car in because it's getting high miles on it, and it's kind of like a few years old. So I'm going to trade it in while I can under the Bank of America auto loan program. So we're just kind of waiting for it to hit 70,000 miles before I do it.
That's important to know. I think the requirement from what the guy said today was no more than 5 years old. Well, that's a refinance and switch it over.
Because I got some info on refinancing because I wanted to refinance my Mercedes because my Mercedes is in my business name. But what Mercedes does, and it's important for us to understand every time you're dealing with your business credit, understanding the terms. So yeah, Mercedes approved me under my business name, but those jerks still reported the car note to my personal credit. I've disputed it. I said, this is not supposed to be on my personal credit, and they have not removed it. So it's like really frustrating. So Mercedes did report my business auto loan to my personal credit report. And so now I wanted to refinance it with, Bank of America. So it does not report that debt. So my debt to income will go down. But they didn't want to refinance it for the entire amount. I would have had to put like $5,000 or $6,000 down on it. It just wasn't worth it. So I think we're going to have to end up trading it in eventually. But it's such a hot car on Turo right now. So we're just going to keep it for now. Probably in like a year or so, we'll actually trade it in at the dealership versus refinancing it.
Wow. Well, how many days? Oh, go ahead.
Hey, and Nicole, I know you need to get going here. I'm going to be doing my son's credit, and he's got I would say an unusual thing on his credit. He was in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
He was deployed, and when you get deployed, there's something that keeps. Yes. They can't repo it, and they weren't making payments. They had a big thing going on, so he still has the car.
Mm-hmm.
He's been out of the Army since August.
Okay.
And he hasn't made, and I was going to try to pull it up, his credit report, but I believe the account says it was closed. And
who's the creditor on it?
Okay, I'm trying to pull that up right now. There it is. It's called TD Auto Finance.
Okay, TD Auto. Okay.
All right, and if I know, the condition is closed.
Is there a balance due on it?
Yeah, well, it's reporting, and I think they're still reporting every month, but I'm not sure. But it's 42.9, but he started off at 34, so there's fees and stuff like that.
Has he talked to TD?
Not yet.
Okay. So
he's also going through a divorce.
Okay.
And so
is it a co-applicant, or is it just him on that auto?
I think
it'll say on the report if it's a joint or
individual account.
Yes.
Yep. That's what he said. Yeah, he's the only one on this.
Okay.
And he's also going through a divorce.
Okay.
And the thing is he lives with us, and he's got a lot of stuff on there. And I saw all this other stuff that he's got. I'm like, okay, well, we can go after all this crap because he's at a 560.
Right.
He'll do a VA, and I think he only needs a 580. However, if he has a collection on there, I don't know if he can get the loan. So just start disputing it like you would with any other account. Round 1, round 2, round 3. The car one?
What's that?
The car.
Yeah, you can add the
collection?
car, because with our round one letter, there's a lot of laws on there that would include that. But you can also just write a note in there that he was deployed. And if he has any sort of documentation proving that he was in fact deployed, you would want to send that as supporting documentation.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I know he was deployed and so forth, but
anything that kind of can prove the fact that he was deployed, I would send that in addition to the letter. Send in the letter, list out the account name that you're disputing, the reason why you're disputing it. You could say it's this account was unauthorized, and I was deployed during this time frame. Obviously, this is an error. Please remove it from my credit report.
right.
And so send in the supporting documentation proving, yeah, this was, I was deployed. He was deployed, and here's the proof of it. So go ahead and take that off my credit report.
Yeah. Here's February 2018. It has a check mark that he was current. Okay. That was the last time he made a payment. That was 4+ years ago.
Gotcha.
And every month it has, it's tagged as a collection charge off through January of this year, but not February and not yet March. I'm thinking
probably
maybe
statute of limitations or something.
Oh yeah, because that's almost, well, I don't know what they are, but this is almost
Colorado
exactly.
might be 4 years. I know California is 4 years.
But he bought the car when they were in Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. So let me see. Tennessee statute of limitations. Some limitations are lower than 4 years, believe it or not.
Yeah. And he said he thinks he got a phone call from them, but he didn't answer it. I'm like, don't answer that.
Yeah, don't answer any of that crap.
Yeah.
Colorado, 6 years.
6 years in Colorado. Yes, but he bought the car, but it's got a new tag.
Auto is 4 years. Auto loan, statute of limitations, Tennessee, 4 years.
Huh.
Well, Tennessee.
Wow. Okay. In a nutshell. So they say here he owes pretty much $43,000. I mean,
yeah, he's not going to get a VA loan with that amount of debt on his profile, probably. And I haven't seen anyone be able to get a mortgage with that amount of debt on their profile, because it goes against your debt to income. Because anytime you have an account with a balance due, that is going to count against your debt to income. So even if we can get that balance due to say 0, then that's going to help him get approved for a home.
Okay, so we need to go after
the account off.
Get the account off, but the statute. So, what the 4 years?
They can't sue him anymore.
They can't pursue it.
They can't sue him. They cannot legally try to collect from him. I mean, they might sell it to a collection company. If they haven't by now, then they're probably not going to. But sometimes, when you start poking the bear before the statute of limitations is up, and statute of limitations is 4 years from the date, I guess, of last activity, right? So if it's been 4 years from the date of last activity, then they cannot sue you for the damages. So they can't take you to small claims court and try to get a judgment on you, because that's happened to some of my clients where I start disputing some of their old debt, and they have the places come after them and try to file a default or a judgment against them, try to take them to court. And I always tell people, if anyone files paperwork against you, just show up. That's all you guys have to do, is just show up to the court date. Because if you don't show up, they will get a default judgment because you did not show up. And once they get that default judgment, the company can keep renewing it until they actually collect. And it's a real hard thing to get overturned. Yeah. So show up and just make them prove it.
Yeah. Okay. So this one might be a thing of, if I'm sending out letters, I'm not going to send it to TD Finance. I'm going to send it to the agencies.
I would send a debt validation letter to TD Finance as well, and just let them know, hey, this account is unknown. You don't need to say it's identity theft, but make them prove it and say, hey, look, I obviously did not authorize this account. I was deported. He probably did, right? But they need to prove it or remove it.
Yeah, there's actually, wow. On the same account within, which one's this? See, that was Equifax. Experian is showing 0 late payments. And he had, wow, he had late payments back in 2016, and then nothing. NR from
Not reported.
December 2016.
Okay. So yeah, I would just take a screenshot of the credit report, how it's reporting across to all three, and say, hey, how are you verifying this information? Here's proof that every credit bureau out there is reporting different information. This account is unknown, or this account information is fraudulent, and I demand you remove it from my credit report immediately before I pursue litigation.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and that's such a big one. I definitely want to, maybe, I don't know if how your working
Just book
thing
a call
is.
with